Hey everyone! I'm so excited to share this project I've been doing. I made the KM Designs Hullabaloo Hobo bag, and this is a memory bag. I've made 8 of these now. This was my very last one. This is Grandma's scarves and names embroidered on all the bags. Grandma's initials are up here. This bag is awesome. I've done a lot of them, so it sewed up pretty quickly now. It's got exterior side pockets that wrap around the side and to the back of the bag. The bag calls for a 1-inch strap. I made a 1.5-inch strap based on my customer's request. Inside the bag is my favorite because, first of all, it opens huge so you can see everything inside of your bag. But y'all, there's a glasses pocket. Like, you can put your sunnies in there, your regular reading glasses, whatever. It's awesome. Then there's 2 pleated pockets right here, which I absolutely love as well. And then of course there's the standard zipper pocket. This bag is definitely a carry-all bag. It's a great size. Here we go. Ignore my stripy pants. Okay, y'all. I hope you have fun and sew along with me. Let me know if there's any questions. Thanks. Okay, friends. Let's start off by grabbing our strap and our D-ring connector and double-sided tape. Also, your 2 swivel clips, your 2 D-ring connectors, and a pen and a ruler. I might be missing something. Okay, so I've already drawn a line down the center of both my D-ring connector and my strap. Yeah, so I'm going to take the double-sided tape and put a strip down the middle. My 1/4-inch double-sided tape is from waywack.com. I guess you'll need scissors too. Okay. Also, I wanted to note that my strap is going to be 1.5 inches wide, not the 1-inch wide strap like the pattern calls for. So I cut mine 3 inches wide by the length she tells you instead. I was specifically asked to have 1.5-inch straps. So I'm laying my double-sided tape on my strap now, but I'm going to keep it out of the ends of the seam allowance. I stopped maybe a 1/2 inch before the end. I believe that's actually what the seam allowance is, now that I'm thinking of it. So we're going to just fold our raw ends into the center for now. Don't worry about that double-sided tape, and double fold it just so you can get 2 swivels on. Yes, I know this is very weird. It's okay, I promise. You're gonna now take your right sides of your strap and put them together, and you're gonna sew across the ends. I don't remember what the seam allowance is right now, but I'm going to use a 3/8 of an inch-ish. Just because that's what I needed to use to get the look I had scarf with no interfacing on it. So now we're going to open up our seam that we just made and press it open. and we're going to top stitch along both sides. So switch to a 5. And then pivot and sew back down. Okay, so you should have 2 lines of stitching to make your seam nice and smooth. So now what you'll want to do is take your double-sided tape backing off. And start folding your raw edges into the center. Whoops. And you'll just keep going around, folding those raw edges into the center. Okay, now all the raw edges are folded into the center. You're going to use your mark, your center, your seam as your first center point. So we're going to find 4 points right here. And then you're going to bring those two centers to each other. Make sure one swivel is on one side of the center and the other swivel is on the other side of the center. Okay. So now you'll have one long loop with your center in the middle and your swivels at each end. Does that make sense so far? It's kind of weird, but I actually really like it a lot. It reduces a lot of bulk. You can make your strap longer by adding more inches. This one's only going to be like 20 inches. It's 19 and a quarter actually right now. That's probably my fault, but if you want it like a 24-inch strap, just cut it. I would do like 49 inches or something. That way you can have your seam allowance still. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch. Oh, also I wanted to note, if you wanted to put another piece of double-sided tape into the center of these two and stick them together so they don't shift anywhere, go ahead and do that now. I'm just going to use some more clips. I like to start on one side where my swivel is. Got a 5 stitch length. We're going to use an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to pivot this. Actually, not yet. I need like that 1/2 stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to cover up my hardware so that doesn't get scratched. Oops, got that almost under there. Okay. I'm using a Tex 80 thread this time from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. It's their, I think it's just called Gold, from their Celebration pre-order. I don't think this has gone to retail yet. Actually, I might be wrong on that. I don't know. I've been making 8 of these bags. plus other custom orders and strike-offs, so I haven't been paying attention to the groups very well. It's been very bad. But it's nice on my wallet. So I just pivoted around the swivel and did the same thing that I did on the opposite side. We're going right back up now. I realized my hand was probably in front of this machine the video the whole time. Sorry about that. Then I'm going to pivot once more and come across. And I'm going to pull my stitches or my thread to the back and tie off. But I'll do that off screen because y'all have seen that before, I'm sure. We're going to grab our D-ring connector. And we're going to do the same thing. Peel the double-sided tape off. Fold the ends in. We'll top stitch down and back. We're going to cut this in half. So just fold the two short ends together. Cut. Grab your D-ring and slide it on. You can use a rectangle ring if you wanted. A triangle connector. I really like these buckle D-rings from Wizardry. I'm going to stitch down and back. Across right below my hardware. And that's my finished D-ring and my finished strap. Also, a little bit later in the pattern, she has you place strips of double-sided tape on your D-ring. I'm just gonna do that now, so I can skip it later since I already have it in my hands. So go ahead and put your tape on if you want, where she tells you. So here we go. Okay, for the next little section here, we're gonna do the side pockets. So we're gonna take a side pocket liner and a side pocket exterior and put them right sides together. And we'll sew across the top. I'm going to use a 3.5 stitch length and a 1/4 inch seam allowance for this one. Repeat for the other side. Okay, then we're going to take our pocket here and flip it out. Make sure you push out your curve. I like to drag my finger across that seam so you can get that curve all the way out. Roll your fabric to the back. In this case, I'm using waterproof canvas. and top stitch across the top of the pocket. We'll do the other one. Sometimes I go in while I'm sewing and push the seam out again because it likes to try to go back in. Then we'll take these pockets, put my scissors where they're supposed to go, and grab our side panel and lay them on top and baste them together. I would like to see a little more room in this pocket myself. It's not going to fit like a water bottle in the side. I would like to see a little bit more. I already cut all these before I really knew that, but that's okay. I think what I would do is just add like some width to just the top of the pocket. So just angle it out some more. Maybe like an inch. It doesn't need much, but it does sit very flush. But you can, it's still functional. You're just gonna still be able to use it for things. Go ahead and repeat on the other side. Now, when we put the base on this pattern, you have to have very, very accurate seams. So real quick, I'm gonna take my side panels over and double check that they're the correct width and cut them out if they're not. I did that scarf and vinyl overlay, so there is some discrepancies. So I'm gonna go double check quick, and then we'll come back and get to stitching the exterior. Okay, is everything accurate? Let's go. Let's grab a front panel and a side panel and lay them right sides together, matching the right hand side. We're going to stitch this with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to use a 3.5 stitch length. Make sure your seam allowance is accurate. You can go ahead and grab another, no, let's top stitch first. We're going to push our seam allowance towards our center panel, and we're going to top stitch down that. Oh, the gold looks so good on here. This is the first time I've used the gold. It's really good. Okay, let's grab another side panel and put it onto the other side. I like to start with my front panel first. That way I can ensure that it's top stitched straight, because we're going to end up having to top stitch in a loop, and it's a little bit more difficult. I can keep all my seams pretty straight, but I want it to make sure it's fully straight. So I start with the front panel, do the two sides, and then add the back panel. switch to your top stitch length. Push your seam towards your center panel again and top stitch. Okay, here's that so far. Okay, go ahead and grab your other main panel now and the side panel. Match up those sides, making sure your curves are always at the top, like your big swoop curve on your main panel and your big upward curve on your side panel. This will be the last time we can top stitch in the straight, so if you wanted to add your name tag, go ahead and do that now. Push your seam allowance towards your side or your main panel and top stitch again. I'll probably hit the camera here, sorry. Just as I suspected. Okay, let's make this a loop. Match up our seams one more time. Not our seams, our sides. Match up our sides. Make sure you're turning back down your stitch length while you're stitching the bag together. Okay, one more time we're going to push our seam towards the center panel and we're going to top stitch in our loop. It's a little bit difficult, but it's totally doable. You usually just need to go slower. Keep pulling your bag back towards you so you can see. Keep spreading apart your bag seam so you can keep stitching your seam down. Okay, and I'm just cutting my threads. And now we have one bag loop here. Let's go ahead and find our centers while we have our bag loop. So to find your centers, all you're going to do is match up all your seams. And you'll get two side centers. And pull those together and match up the center markings. And then double check that your side seams match up. And you'll have another center mark. See those seams matching up right there? Okay, so now we have 4 clips on the bottom. And we'll go get our bottom. Okay, so I've double checked my bottom is the right size. I've punched holes in the bottom already. And I've put markings on the 4 points. So all we have to do now is match up our bottom. You want to make sure your long side is going from starting in the main panel. So that's where you want your first marking to be. That long edge of your bottom panel on the main panel center mark. As usual, I like to add 2 extra clips on my bag bottoms before I go on to clip the next part. I'll go to the opposite side and match up my centers. Again, 2 extra clips. We're going to match up the side center and do the other one as well. Now you need to ease the bag in to the rest of the curves. This, I don't know if it's because of the vinyl and the scarves, but I have struggled with almost every single bottom of this bag except for my last one and quite possibly this one. But I also didn't make the first 6. I used clips to mark my centers on my bottom instead of actually marking the centers on my bottom. And then I've been actually double checking that all my sides and my main panels and my bottom are all the correct size before sewing them, which I think has helped a lot. It's a very, very skinny fit. So I also am not 100% sure, but I don't think that my side of my foot is 3/8 of an inch seam allowance like I always thought it was. I think it's just outside of it that's 3/8 of an inch, and then where I have this blue tape is 1/2 of an inch. I don't know, but let's try to sew the bottom on. Okay, I think I found that the last time I sewed this too, it was a little bit easier to sew it with, instead of going into the curves, actually sewing it this way, which is definitely not a normal for me. But I'm going to come in and clip within the seam allowance just on the exterior of my bag. So hopefully it'll fold in, not fold in, but like fold down and get into those curves just a little bit better. So I'm just going to do this all the way around real quick and then I'll come back. And just to be clear, I said all the way around, but I just meant all the way around the curves, and I left the straight edges alone. Okay, so I have to you have to fold the bag down to be able to get this to fold right. I'm going to start on a straight area. I actually try to start on the front panel side. So if anything goes awry, it can go awry in the back. Okay, we need a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. Okay, so coming into these curves, you just want to keep pushing everything flat. Folding it down, smoothing it out. I'm going to come into the bag and actually try to help smooth it out too. That worked really good. This clear vinyl is very sticky, so it likes to pinch. Whoa. You should always not move anything. until your needle's down. Sorry, I never finished that thought. Got distracted. I think this bag you could use oops. Yeah, you could definitely use staples on and not be mad. At least I could. All right, let me re-clip this on real quick. Okay. Almost there. You can do it. And we did it. Woohoo! Nice. Okay, let's grab our Peltex. Okay, you also need your purse feet and a screwdriver if you're using screw-on purse feet. Screw-on purse feet are my absolute favorite. More expensive, but they don't come out. Okay. We've got our screw. I'm going to put in my Peltex hole. I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to put my Peltex and my screw through this, well, I'm going to put the screw through the screw hole that I punched in the base. I'm going to grab a foot and find the inside, which can sometimes take a few minutes. Then I grab my screwdriver and screw it on. I don't tighten it all the way yet, so I can move my Peltex as need be. Looks like I might have maybe a little bit extra Peltex this time. No, it's alright. Okay, and then I come to one of the corner screw holes. Grab a foot and your screwdriver. Find your center and screw it in. I'm going to go to the opposite corner after I finish this one. All the way down here. And then I'll do the rest. Okay, here's a little peek inside. I'm actually going to keep it this way for now and find the centers on my side panels here. And I'm going to put a clip on each side. And then I'll grab those D-rings we prepped. I'll remove the tape. And I'll put it on the side panel. And do the same. Oh, I just ripped my clip off. Do the same thing on the other side here. So just take the tape off and match your centers. Okay, let's move on to our lining. Okay, so we're going to do the trim here, and we're going to need the glasses pocket trim and the pleated pocket trim. I've got lines down the center of both. I also have a 6/8 of an inch line, 3/4 of an inch, on both short ends. First, we're going to fold those short ends to meet that line on both sides. Then we will fold our raw edges into the center. This is the pleated pocket trim. I forgot to say that. I'm so sorry. How confusing. The pleated pocket trim is the only one you have to do fold the raw ends in at the short ends, because the glasses pocket trim is sewn into itself. Well, you know, into the seam of the bag. My glasses pocket actually is going to look a bit different than everybody else's, because the first two of these I made, I messed up how much foam you were supposed to cut, so I just cut that much foam for all of them, so there's no discrepancies in the bags. Now that I have this folded in on itself, I'm going to lay a piece of 1/4 inch double-sided tape all the way across. Okay, it's definitely not time to peel off your tape yet, so just put that to the side for now and do the glasses pocket trim. No. Yes, glasses pocket trim. So we're just folding it in on itself, both directions, both sides, and then we'll put a double-sided piece of tape on the center as well. Okay, let's grab our glasses pocket and our foam. Again, my foam is not cut correctly. You're only supposed to use half a piece. Okay, we're going to fold it to where the two short ends match each other. Make sure your fabric is smooth on your foam and your sides match up. Then you want to baste this on with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, or baste it together with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'll cut off this extra foam I have peeking out here. It's very important for the next step that you have even seams across the top. You're going to grab your your glasses pocket trim and take your double-sided tape off. Try not to touch the tape. Line up your top of your pocket with your center of your trim. And push that down. Then take it and wrap it around. I like to use clips for these again, even with that double-sided tape. And then we're going to top stitch across. I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. A 5 stitch length. Okay, that's top stitched down. Check the back side of your trim to make sure you caught the caught all of it. Oh yeah, I did. I had a lot of extra back there. Oops. Okay, then we'll fold it wrong sides together. We'll baste. Bobbin change. Okay, redo. Baste. You'll notice my foam poked out and whatnot, so I'll just trim it down. And then we're going to stitch across the bottom of our pocket. That bottom folded edge. Now you have a super cute glasses pocket. Okay, your glasses fit right in there. Whoa, hold on. Boom. Glasses hut. Okay. Next we'll do the pleated pocket, which will be done a little bit differently than what she has you do. I'm gonna fold my 2 sides in by 3/8 of an inch. And do your opposite long edge. Actually, they're all the same, if I remember correctly. So then you'll take your pleated pocket and fold it up to meet the tops. This is wrong sides together, so you'll have the right side on the front and the back of this pocket. So you want to grab a hang tag before you forget, and your pleated pocket trim. Get that double-sided tape off. Match up the ends and put this in your pocket in the center of your trim, just like we did the last time. Push it down to adhere your tape. And then wrap it around. I didn't make it line it up correctly the first time, so I just repositioned it a bit. There we go. We'll top stitch across. Back stitching at the beginning and the end. Okay, then I'm gonna grab, I have a chalk marker thing that I've never used before from Madame Sew. I'm gonna try this out. We're gonna find the center of our pocket and make a mark, and 1 inch on each side and make a mark. And then I'm gonna flip over and do it on the top. Not on the trim though. Now this thing's pretty cool, and it made pretty good marks, and way straighter of marks than I ever imagined, because it's got a little wheel on it. That's pretty cool. Anyways, sorry. We're going to grab one of our lining main panels. I'll fold it to find my center, even though it already has like some pretty good folds in it. I clipped my centers so I could see them a little bit better maybe. We're going to measure down how far she tells you to measure, but you want to measure from the very, very top of your piece, so that you want to measure from all the way up here, not your curved part anywhere, all the way from that top flat edge. Okay, I've got that, and we'll lay it down to match. In the center. Double check that it matches. Then we're gonna just slide it over. I do this part a little bit differently than she does. We're gonna start on the bottom of our pocket in the center. We're going to stitch straight up. Into the stitch line of our top stitching in our trim, and then we're going to come right back down, hopefully on the same line of stitching you already made, and then back stitch. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to pinch the first two markings on the, what would this be? The right side. Okay, I'm going to pinch at the bottom and the top and make a fold. Okay, and then I'm going to match that to the stitch line we already made. Then I'll put a clip at the top and just a little rainbow clip at the bottom will suffice. So I'm going to leave that now. And we're going to go to the side of our pocket. Do you have your hang tag out? Good. Okay, so you'll need a little bit of a hump jumper. And it's not quite enough. There we go. Okay. There we go. Remove your hump jumper. Okay, I'm gonna grab my hang tag and fold it in half and stuff it in there. It's in between the folded layers. It's not on the back side of my slip pocket, but in between the folded layers. Okay, make sure my clips are still where they're supposed to be and my side is matching to my stitch line there. Okay, don't go past your stitch line here, okay? I'm all the way to the end of my first side. Got my needle down so I can mess with the rest of this. I'm gonna pinch my fabric again on the lines and make a fold and bring it to the center to match up again. You'll have to lift your presser foot up and out of the way. Okay, no need to put a clip down if you stopped right at the end. Maybe just a little bit of, there we go. But you should put a clip, move your clip, not that one. Move your clip from the top to the other side. That's gonna ensure that your pocket stays straight. So don't forget to do that part, okay? Keep going. Just keep going, just keep going. You're almost there. If you forgot your hang tag, put it in on this side. Make sure your pocket's still lined up where you wanted it to ensure that it is straight. Okie dokie artichokes, you just put in your pleated pocket and it looks fabulous. Check it out. I really like the pleated pockets on this. I've done many pleated pockets before, but I really like this one. Okay, the next part of this, you're supposed to use a zipper stay. I'm just gonna do it the normal way for me. So I haven't used a stay in a single one of these and I haven't had a problem yet. So I'm gonna measure 1 inch down from the top of my zipper pocket and make a line as long as my pocket is, minus 1 inch on each edge. Then I'll measure down 3/8 of an inch and again make a line that same length. I connect my lines for fun. I don't know. We're gonna take our pocket here. Sorry, that's the lining panel. And instead of placing our zipper pocket on the mark she told us to, because I'm not using this stay, I'm gonna put it at 2.5 inches down. That's gonna be where my pocket goes. Right side together. And centered, of course. Then we will come over here. To our sewing table and stitch those 2 lines. I'm going to use a 3.5 stitch length for this. Make sure you start your second stitch line exactly opposite as the where you ended. You want it to line up or else your box will be crooked at the end. I have had many crooked little boxes at the end. I'm sure not very many people notice them because it's just one tiny line. But I like to not have crooked boxes, personally. We're going to seam rip our hole. Again, these are both waterproof canvas. Going to come in and make some V-clips. Don't go through your stitches, but you want to get all the way up to them. If you just snipped your stitch, go back in and sew it. No big deal. Just, you know, who wants to stitch it again, right? Okay, so we have our hole cut out. We have V-clips. Okay, let's take our pocket and stuff it through. If you've seen any of my videos lately that I use waterproof canvas in, you'll know that I use double-sided tape next. But for those who haven't, I'm going to show you how to use double-sided tape on your waterproof canvas by just putting it right above your stitch line when you pull it through. Waterproof canvas is a stinker with zippers. You know, it always makes you wrinkles and whatnot. So this helps tremendously. Okay, so my double-sided tape is right above that stitch line we just used to sew our facing together. Okay, I have it hanging over the edge. If you don't have it hanging over the edge, putting it right here is pointless. You need to put it somewhere else if you don't want to have it hang over the edge or whatever. So I like to pull this out flat and smush it down. Okay, you want to adhere part of your zipper tape to your main panel already. Then pull your double-sided tape off and fold your facing to the back. Make sure that you can see a tiny bit of your exterior panel from this side. Okay, here's my facing. This is the wrong side of my main panel. And if you look here, that's my main panel again. Okay, you want to see just a little bit to ensure that your facing is rolled all the way to the back. You're going to do the same thing on this bottom piece too, okay? This is going to give you a super nice looking pocket. And with waterproof canvas, you know if you've used it before that that's really hard to do. Okay, again, pull your main panel away from your zipper pocket and push your tape down. Pull your backing off your tape, fold your pocket down, and press it flat, again making sure you see your exterior panel up just a little bit. We'll need 2 more pieces of double-sided tape, maybe like an inch long each, maybe. I'll probably use more like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch maybe. What we're going to do here with this one is we're going to lay it on top of those triangles. So smooth out your triangles, pull your backing, pull your facing tight so you can see a bit of that lining, or that, yeah, the lining main panel. Okay, y'all, look at that. Okay. Now we need our number 3 zipper. Okay, so we need our zipper. I cut mine as wide as my pocket. I don't know what the measurement is, but somehow I messed up every single one of mine and had to recut every single one, which stinks, but it is what it is. So I have 1/8 inch double-sided tape on each side of my zipper, because I love double-sided tape. I'm going to pull off the top layer of double-sided tape and lay my pocket on top, centering my zipper. Press that on, flip over to the back side, flip up my zipper, and peel that other side of double-sided tape off. And put it down. Ooh, that's a pretty pocket. Good job. Okay, we're going to top stitch all the way around our box now. Whoop. Switch to a 5-stitch length. I've got like just a tiny bit of little crow's feet right here, so I'm gonna pull it tight. And keep pivoting all the way around. Okay. Untitled Pocket. Okay, so get your other zipper panel, sorry, lay it right sides together. We're gonna stitch along the sides and the top, and we're gonna leave the bottom open. That's where we're gonna turn our bag through, or we'll turn it through the lining and then the zipper pocket. Oh, we'll see. I've been finding I need the full, like, 11 inches that this pocket is to turn my vinyl. And I can't get that full 11 inches in the lining. I only get like 9 maybe, which it's doable, but it's more wrinkly for me since I have that clear vinyl. And if you try to get the full 11 in the lining, you have to get really close to the top of the bag, and it's too close for comfort. Trust me, I've made that mistake. Okay. Your zipper pocket's on. Now you can add your glasses pocket. Sorry, I got really excited about adding the glasses pocket. I got a couple long threads here that I thought were coming out, but they're not. Okay, so I just eyeball this. I like to put it a little bit below the zipper pocket and definitely not in the seam allowance at the bottom. There should be at least 3/8 of an inch on the bottom. Again, there needs to be that seam allowance room on the bottom. Don't forget, I've warned you. Okay, I think I just stitched that on instead of base stitching, but it all works. I'm gonna trim that a bit again. You probably won't have to trim this much if you use the right amount of foam. Anyways, let's grab our other lining. No, let's not grab our lining yet. I did this last time. I forgot to install the zipper. Okay, make sure you grab your zipper. I'm melting the ends here so they don't unravel anymore. I'm going to fold both ends of, or not both, but one end of zipper tape, the open end, at a 90-degree angle so I can curve my edges off and have a finished zipper. I'll base that down at 1/8 of an inch. You can hand stitch this if you would rather. Definitely don't want to hand stitch personally. We're going to match our fold on the other side. Or at least try to. Pretty close. This is probably why it would be better to hand stitch these so you can have more accuracy, since the foot will move that zipper a little bit. And the zipper teeth is what I'm talking about. Move the zipper teeth. Okay. It should look like this side, not this side. But, yeah, it's close. Alright. So again, I'm going to do this one different. I have the silk scarves for my top, and I have waterproof canvas for the bottom. I have a specific way I have to lay out my zipper because I have initials on here. So I am going to take one of my zipper panels and fold the bottom edge up I'm going to take my zipper panel and fold in the short edge 1/2 inch. Let's go ahead and do that on both sides. So you'll have something like this. Sorry about my dog. Okay, I don't know what's his deal. Then we're going to take double-sided tape, 1/8 of an inch still. I only use 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape on my zippers now. This is from Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. I'm not going to put it the full length of my zipper. I don't want my tape to be hanging out. I'll pull the tape off and match up how do I want to explain this? I want to start my zipper curve like 1/8 of an inch away from that folded edge. I'm going to keep my zipper folded, my zipper panel. And then I'll stick it onto the tape all the way down. And clip the other end on since I didn't go all the way to the end. Okay, see, I started a little bit away from that folded edge. Both ends are folded in still. Okay, when we sew this together, we're gonna start and stop 1/8 of an inch away from each end. So go ahead and grab one lining piece. I fold one side in the 1/2 inch. I match it up to my curved ends of the zipper and match my exterior and my lining together. Then I can clip the rest of the way down. Okay, and we didn't fold this end of our lining, so go ahead and do that now. That way you can ensure that your lining matches up perfectly with your exterior. I'm going to pull my zipper open most of the way. It's dangling right at the end here, and I'll put a clip on the end of my zipper so it doesn't come off. Remember to start 1/8 of an inch away from your folded edges. We're going to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I forgot to back stitch. You should back stitch for sure. I don't know why I didn't, but okay, before you get all the way down here, you can move your zipper again if you need to. And then check to make sure that your lining fabric is still matching up with your exterior fabric. Make sure to stop sewing 1/8 of an inch away from the end. And I literally just eyeball it. I just don't go to the end, like by 1 stitch. So then you can take your exterior and your lining, fold them wrong sides together. So you're sandwiching your zipper in. Clip it if you need to. Do the same thing on the other end. And you know, clip it anywhere else you need to or don't. Okay, then we're gonna start sewing on one of the folded sides, and we're gonna top stitch all the way up. Well, just the short ways up, across the top and down the other side. I do not baste that side seam or those raw edges. I don't baste it. I just leave it. That's up to you though, of course. I like to kind of pull my zipper away from my fabric, but you don't want to pull too much because you don't want to like wave your zipper or anything. Okay, so this is what the first part of the zipper looks like. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I want to make a note that I also do the other side the same way that I did the lining side of this one. I only fold it on one side the 1/2 inch, line up one side of my folded edge of my zipper tape and the folded edge of my panel, making sure that it's even, and then I'll clip it the rest of the way down. Okay, let's find the center of our zipper panel on both sides by folding it in half and meeting your side seam things, your ends of your zipper panel. Okay. Also, here's your zipper panel. Okay. Now that that's done, and I'm not going to freak out that I didn't do it, let's sew the sides of our lining panels together. I'm going to start at 3/8 of an inch, increase to a 1/2 inch, and then go back down to 3/8 of an inch. I'm up to my 1/2 inch increase now. That jump on double-sided foam is like impossible. Don't do double-sided foam on a domestic machine. Okay, I went back down to 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. scuffed up my waterproof canvas, but it's okay. Okay, match up the other side seam. Again, start at a 3/8 of an inch, increase to half, and back down to 3/8 of an inch. Okay, find your center of your bottom by matching up your side seams again and finding the other sides centers. Whoa, there goes my zipper panel. We'll just go with it. Okay, then fold your bottom in half if you don't have your marks on, and clip. The bottom isn't as bad as the front or the exterior to get the base on. I'm not really sure how that works, but I guess the lining's usually more flexible than the exterior. I don't know. Anyway, same thing that we did before. We're gonna match our clips up. I'm gonna add 2 extra clips. Go to the other side. Match up those center marks. 2 more clips. Then go to the center, side center mark. Open your seam on the sides here and match those. Get your curve in there if you want. I'll do it on both sides before going to the other end. Which looks like got a little bit extra here. So I'm gonna move some stuff. To ease it in a bit better. There we go. And do the opposite end, opening up the sides, clipping it in, and clipping your curve in. Again, if you want, you can put actual clips into your lining exterior to help make it lay flatter. I'm going to stitch this on, and I'm going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you did not leave any more room than 3/8 of an inch on the bottom before your glasses pocket, don't sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You'll catch your glasses pocket. You don't want to do that. So use that 3/8 or decrease to the 3/8 right there. Nobody will know. Almost done with the bottom. okay. If you want, you can trim your seam allowance. I like never trim my seam allowance, but totally up to you. Your bottom is on, and we'll move to assembly. First part of assembly is finding your centers again on the top lining panel. So match your seams, find your centers. Okay, grab your zipper. Forgot my belt. Make sure you know which side of your bag is going to be the left and which is going to be the right. I like mine opening left to right, the zippers, so I want my zippers to all go the same way. You're going to put this on your lining, but you're going to put it right side of your lining to the right side of your lining main panel. So let's do that. Match that clip mark, and then work your way out, up and around this curved slope. All the way up. You should end at that squared off corner. I have and I haven't, so it's fine. Again, as long as it's symmetrical, that's really all we're going for in the end, right? You can go ahead and face that curved zipper panel on. Should be running out of bobbin thread anytime here. Okay, let's go ahead and repeat that for the other side of the lining. Okay, so you want to turn your lining right side out. I find it's easiest to do it this way. And I like my zipper pocket to be on the back. So I'm going to make sure when I tuck this in here, my zipper pocket's on the back. Oops. Then I'll take the side seams of the lining and open that seam. Sorry, let's try to move over here. Okay. All right. And we'll match up the center of that D-ring connector with the side seam. Okay. Then we'll flip over to the other side and do the same thing. Make sure you keep your zipper out of the way. Make sure you have the center of your D-ring connector. Matching up with your side seam. I don't think I have my connector in the center, because it's not matching up. So let's try this. I'm going to clip my connector where my tape was to the center here. And then match it up here. The curved part of my exterior side panels was not matching the curved part of the lining. All good now. Okay, so now we're just gonna clip this in the rest of the way. Make sure your zipper panel's down. Make sure you're pulling your lining out to meet your exterior. All right, let's go sew. Okay, so I'm going to sew from the lining side. We're going to sew with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I still haven't ran out of bobbin, so I imagine I'm going to have a bobbin change before we finish this. I like to make sure that that seam stays flat. Bobbin change. All right, here we go again. That was my third bobbin. And I imagine my last bobbin, as long as I don't mess anything up terribly. I like to make sure that this seam stays flat. Okay. Make sure you're feeling around for your zipper. You don't want to catch that. And we're to the beginning. Whoop, whoop. Way to go, y'all. Okay, go ahead and double check all the way around your bag, ensuring that you got all your exterior sewn to your lining. Whoopsie. Do not trim your D-ring connectors. Everything looks pretty good. I do want to try stitching right by my D-ring connector again on both sides, just for added security. So I'll do that real quick. Okay, let's pull our lining out of our exterior. And we can turn our exterior right side out. There we go. I left my zipper closed. Oops. I always like to try to do the curves first. On the bottom, the curves of the base. Okay. Jeez. Okay. I just pushed my exterior inside my lining. No, I just pushed my lining inside my exterior. Kind of by accident, but now you know. I'm pushing the corners out here. Double checking that I got both the exterior and the lining zipper panels sides sewn in. Push your base all the way down and out. Okay, put your lining all the way in. I'm squishing it because it gets a lot of air trapped in there. And shockingly, it holds the air in there really well after you top stitch your pocket shut. It's very strange. It's pretty impressive though. Okay, so I'm folding my ends of my zipper pocket in about 1/4 of an inch or so. I literally always just eyeball it and make sure that it matches all the way across. No need to measure it really. Nobody's gonna know what size it's supposed to be or measure the pocket. One more little clip here. Okay, as you heard me say, I'm going to top stitch my pocket shut. So I just use a 5 stitch length and an 8 seam allowance. I do this because if I have to get back in the bag, it makes it easier for me to seam rip open. Being me, I've made loads of mistakes and I've definitely had to rip open a bag or 20. The best part of using the 5 top stitch for your pocket is that you're now ready to top stitch your bag too. You don't have to change your stitch length. Okay, let's go ahead and tuck that zipper pocket in. I like to try to get my corners pushed out Sometimes it's hard in this waterproof canvas. Okay, zipper's closed. All right, let's go ahead and top stitch. So I like to start at a D-ring connector. I specifically like to start at the one with the clip on the end, just because I find it harder to maneuver around later. It's easier to start off with. Okay, so we'll start at the D-ring connector. I'm going to try to get a little bit of a hump jump in here. If you didn't change to a 5-stitch length, do so. Okay, let me bring you here. Okay, this seam right here is thick. And when I mean thick, I mean it's thick. Especially with the vinyl. I'm going to use my hump jumper 100%. Make sure you get something. Hammer it, iron it if it's fabric. Hold it down with a chip clip. Something. I feel like I could have maybe sewn trimmed the seam allowance down some more right there, and it would be better. Well, not some more. I didn't trim it at all, but like where the zipper panel starts. I like to do the hump jumper. Sorry. Okay, we've got 2 more of the thicker seams right here. Again, I have that 2 layers of clear vinyl and scarf fabric and interfacing, so make sure you keep your zipper out of the way so you do not catch it while you're stitching. Okay, the last thing here is just adding a strap end. You need a strap end and a screw, which it looks like I do. Oh, there it is. And let's see, a screwdriver. What we're going to do is take the zipper end. Well, let's zip the bag first. Okay, we're going to tuck one end of the zipper tape to the teeth and fold it under one more time. So you just double folded your zipper tape, and then repeat on the other side. Double fold on that side. Okay. Then I like to try to melt the end a little bit more and squish it together so it is easier for insertion. Slide that in. Try to get it as far in as you can. I feel like it didn't go in all the way, but it's in there past the screw hole, so we should be good. Whoa. Don't stab yourself with your screwdriver. Okay, my zipper's end is on, and I'm going to tug on it to make sure that it caught both sides of the tape. After that, all you need is your strap, and this bag is done. Great job, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. Bye.